Welcome to this webinar of Doxity, organized in collaboration with Institut Supérieur de Marketing de Luxe, entitled Unveiling the Luxury Market, Trends, Insights, and Job Opportunities. I see that the first participants are joining us, so welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
So I ask you to be with us a few minutes to wait for the other to connect. In the meantime, if you want, you can leave a greeting in the chat and write us from which country are you connected. We are curious, so don't be shy. Oh, wow. So good morning, everyone. As I can see that some people are connecting now. I'm Victoria from Doxity. Welcome to this webinar organized in collaboration with Institut Supérieur de Marketing de Luxe, entitled Unveiling the Luxury Market, Trend, Insight, and Job Opportunities. I ask you to be with us a few minutes to wait for the other to connect. In the meantime, if you want, you can leave a greeting and write us from which country are you connecting. In this webinar, we will discuss the captivating world of luxury. You will understand the evolving consumer behavior driving this change and explore the job opportunity in the sector. We are here with Dr. Bership, Deputy Director of Sup de Luxe, who is going to present the latest trends shaping the luxury industry and how brands are adapting to changing consumer demand. At the end, we will have a question and answer session where you can ask a question directly to our host. You can send us your question by clicking the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom menu. So I ask you to stay until the end in order to request for your certificates of participation of this webinar, and we will share the link in the chat. I see that more people just have connected, so check 1 second the chat to see where do you come from. Welcome to everybody. Ooh, there are people from Serbia and Bulgaria, Poland. Hi, everyone.
Hello, good evening.
So,
good afternoon. Still time to say good afternoon, yes.
I think we can start. So now I give the floor to our host.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Good evening, everyone. So I'm extremely happy to be here with you tonight. As you can see on the slide, I changed a little bit the haircut, but still the same person. So I'm Marjorie Birchie. I'm the Deputy Director of Luxury Sup de Luxe. This is, I don't know if you know the meaning. As Victoria mentioned, this is the Higher Institute of Luxury Marketing, based in Paris, since 35 years old. So it's a very old but very innovative institute in luxury. Personally, considering my age, I have 20 years of experience, and I spent a lot of experience abroad in Italy, because I'm half French, half Italian, also in China, in Asia, in Europe, in Monte Carlo, but in the UK as well. And I had the chance to have the double hat, meaning business and academic, because I did a doctorate as well. But we are not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about what is interesting for you. And I'm supposed that if you are here tonight, that you are interested by the luxury sector. So I know we'll start because we are talking about emotion and passion when we are talking about luxury. Of course, we need to start with figures. Generally, it's not the part that students or people like the most, but it's extremely important, especially because if you have doubt and you have questions about your future career and your future decision in terms of working in this sector, so it's important to have this type of figures in mind. Let's start by the global vision in terms of figures. I don't want to enter in all the details. As you can see on the chat, that we are focusing about the key figures about the global personal luxury good market, which is one segment of the global luxury sector. And we did not want to put all the years in this chart, just to give you a very nice symbol, because in 1990, it was the date of the creation of Sup de Luxe, and at this period, this global personal luxury good market was representing only, I would say, 60 billion euro. And as you can see, well, there was a slowdown after the COVID crisis, obviously, but 2023, it's definitely a record year. You know, the global luxury goods market comprises 9 segments led by luxury cars, luxury hospitality, and personal luxury goods, which together account for more than 80% of the total market. They reach this global luxury goods reach 1,500 billion euros, you know. So this is absolutely huge. What is interesting as well to notify that in this segment, you know, the personal luxury goods segment represents, as I mentioned, 362 billion euro, driven especially by categories like apparel and jewelry. And we expect, we can, let's say, the consultants estimate the sustainable growth to 2030 about 5 to 7%, which is important. Another important figure is that that the online sales, we consider that by 2025, so it's tomorrow, they will represent 20% of the global, you know, sales, which is huge. And of course, after I will present the reason why. Okay, we were presenting some figures and considering a global vision, but what about Europe? So in Europe, you know, in 2023, Europe regained the top position for personal luxury goods sales, you know, and the consumption was definitely good and strong with 102 billion euros. What is very interesting that the very important customers and tourists, some tourists, maintain, you know, this very positive position of Europe. First of all, the US tourists, as you can see, their spending grew by 2.5, sorry, between 2019 and 2023. The Middle Eastern as well, tourists increased as well by 1.7. And I would say that the Chinese tourists will come back, considering, you know, what happened during the COVID session, the COVID crisis. It was difficult to return to the level we have before. And today we are about 40%. We are achieve the level in 2023, about 40% of the 2019 level. So we are recovering. What about in France? Because this is very important as well to what we call the French touch, you know. Definitely France continues to fuel luxury markets because the leaders of the top 100 luxury world companies are French, you know. We have 7 groups, and of course LVMH is the first group worldwide with more than 70 brands, like, of course, Celine, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, you know, all of them, I'm pretty sure. And we have other companies, the Kering Group, which is the second most important one as well, the Maison Hermès, Chanel, but also others, and they are top. They are part of the top companies, top worldwide companies, and they are French. So did you see that I did some very short presentation about figures, because I know that people don't like that, but it's important to see anyway this aspect. What are very important in terms for you as well to think about a luxury. If you think about a luxury career or a study and so on in the luxury sector, it's about the luxury trends. What is very interesting, maybe we can start by that with the list. You will see, we'll start by, it moves anyway. I can start with the first trend, you know. I call that the let's get hyper physical in-store experiences. This is not necessarily obvious for people to think that the in-store experiences, still a very important trend, but it's true. Even if, of course, we observe over the last 2 years that the net store openings have fallen by 40 or 45%. But we consider that the in-store experience are still important for the brands, and they change completely the way, you know, they approach the luxury experience with the customer. That means that maybe a brand does not open so many boutiques, but they prefer to reorganize their boutiques, or if they open boutiques, larger boutique, to have more space for what I call hyper physical experiences. They want really the show off of the in-store experiences. So it's still a trend, but it's a new way to propose, you know, in-store experiences for the customers. The second trend is the new models of consumption. You know, definitely the brands continue to invest in digital. I was talking about the in-store experiences, but most of the time, the very extraordinary in-store experiences are fueled by the digital, and that's why the company continue to invest in the digital to reach, you know, new customers. And we will see in a few seconds that it's another big trend, the new generation of customers arriving in this market, and they definitely want to offer, you know, exclusive online experiences, even if they preserve, of course, the exclusivity and the very ancestral heritage, you know, of each brand. This is the online experience is extremely important. For example, the brands decide to expand their presence on foreign marketplaces like Farfetch, you know, for example, Chanel developing this one, but also in China. I think tonight we have more European audience, but in China, it's very a way of lifestyle, you know, to be all the time on your mobile phone and to have live online experiences directly with the brands. For example, it's Dior. During the last fashion week, they decided to show to the internet fans, you know, the catwalk, all the organization and so on. So it was really a very strong online interaction with their customers and with their fans, the fans of the brand. It's just an example. Of course, this is possible because of the multiplication of tech and digital innovation. I was talking about digital, but it's not only that. You know, the brands really jump on the innovation like online gaming, cryptocurrencies, NFT, blockchain, metaverse. I will show you some example after, and you will see that it's very impressive. They use a lot the virtual reality, you know, to engage their communities, their customers, and especially with the new generation arriving on this in this sector. That's very interesting because it's linked as well with the last trend about the generation is the second-hand luxury. You know, I'm pretty sure you see that the brands develop not only on boutique but also especially on digital on their platform the second-hand. Well, for different reasons. First of all, because we are facing new generation, and they are, I would say, more conscious, you know, about the sustainability of the luxury sector. And globally, they are very concerned about the sustainability for the planet. So it's very important for the brands as well to jump on that, because the customer asks for that as well. And especially with the new generation, but not only. A second aspect as well, they prefer to develop directly on their platform, because they can have the control, you know, of the second-hand products as well. So it's a very important trend in terms of business. I don't want to enter in the figures you can see on the screen, but it's definitely a part of the luxury sector in terms of business, which will be developed and will increase in the future. And I was talking a few seconds about the generational complexity, because as you can imagine, the generation X and Y, I'm part of it, I'm part of them, they continue, you know, to fuel, and definitely they represent the bulk of luxury purchases and the key pool of income growth in the near future. But we are, I was mentioning the generation Z, born between 1995 and 2009, and it's very interesting because this is this generation which decided to change, you know, the things from a social or cultural aspect, and the way to push the brands to change their way of product, of manufacturing their product and so on, but also the way they engage with their customers. So, and we have the famous Alpha generation, and personally, I'm all the time very impressed when I enter in a luxury brand, or in a boutique about, you know, luxury boutique in cosmetics or fashion, and I'm very impressed seeing, especially in cosmetics, very young people, you know, very often ladies, around 12, 13 years old, and they have a brand awareness. I'm extremely shocked and very impressed by that. So this is a new customer, extremely aware, extremely concerned, and another very important point, they are born with the digital. I mean, they interact from the very young, you know, immediately online with the brands, and they're extremely comfortable, you know, with the social networks, all the digital things. I have a daughter, she's 14 years old. It's very important to see how she's very comfortable with that. She knows all the brands, she knows all the products and so on. That's very, very impressive. And definitely the brand have to deal with this new generation. So that's why I'm talking about multi-generational complexity, you know, and the brands, they have to satisfy all these customers. Just before, I was mentioning that I wanted to show you some example of digital gamification and so on, and you can see, you know, the colors, and that's very beautiful. For example, Hermès launches a virtual fitting, you know, so Hermès boosts its makeup offer thanks to this online, you know, virtual fitting. That's crazy, completely crazy. I want to show you also, because of course we were talking about retail, about fashion and accessories, cosmetics, but of course the hospitality sector is very concerned as well by that. And the picture you can see, I don't know if you're very specialist about art, but the painting you can see on the wall is a Pablo Picasso. And the idea, Louis Vuitton, Bristol Paris, so a very famous hotel in Paris, they decided to offer the possibility to very important clients as well, of course, to enjoy a dinner in front of a Pablo Picasso painting. So the aim is really to attract a very ultra targeted and very affluent clientele, you know, with a taste for art and gastronomy for sure. But also perhaps to find the painting future owner, I don't know. But this is another type of experience that the brand decide to launch for their customer. Another example of Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton decided to enter the world in the world of NFT. In collaboration with Nicolas Gassier, and this bag, each person, it was an NFT. You can buy, you know, a part of each bag. So they decided to launch the NFT approach with their customer as well. Another example, Nina Ricci decided, it was in March 2024, a few months ago, they decided to open a pop-up cafe in Paris. It was very nice because, you know, they decided to launch this pop-up cafe with the color of their new fragrance, Nina Illusion. And it was really, really, really nice. And the idea was in the cafe, there was an infinity room, you know, with the mirrors. And like this, as you can imagine, especially the young generation, they came and they were taking a lot of pictures, Snapchat, you know, and the idea, of course, it was to develop, you know, and to create this experience completely viral on the social networks, you know. So, of course, because each person wanted to have a picture in this pop-up cafe, it was very, very nice. Another experience, I was talking before about this famous gamification. Chanel, for example, dedicated a mobile game to its chance fragrance, you know, so they decided to create a game, and each time there was an avatar, so you have an avatar in the game, and you can gain more drops, you know, of the perfumes, so to go further in the game. So this is really this very gamification approach of the luxury to touch and to engage, especially in the new generation, the new customers. So based on what I told you, you know, and the figures, definitely we can say the future of luxury. I would like to say that the future is very clear, and it's very funny because some specialists say, oh yeah, okay, by 2024, so it's today, we can expect a moderate growth between 1% and 4%. Okay, considering what we had before, it's not a lot for them, but it's still a growth. So that's very important to keep that in mind. But the specialists consider that depending on the consumer confidence, because we you know that better than me, we are living in a very uncertain world. So we don't know exactly, you know, what will be the mood of the customer globally. I mean, not only in France and globally for luxury sector, and we don't know also what will be the speed, depending on the speed of recovery in certain strategic markets. I was mentioning China before. So some specialists say that potentially this growth could reach also 5% to 7%. So it's not too bad, definitely. But the figure, and I wanted to put this figure on this slide because we expect anyway by 2030, this is definitely tomorrow, this luxury goods market globally could have a complete value and could reach 2,500 billion euros. This is completely huge. So based on this element, you can see that definitely based on the growth expectation, the trends I presented, the opportunities to work in this sector are tremendous. I just want to give you one figure very interesting. In France, for example, we estimate that the luxury industry is looking for 20,000 jobs in France between now and 2025, in particular to compensate for those retiring, because we have a complete generation of people who will stop to work, and we have to completely renew, you know, the person. You can see on the slides, I don't want to give you all the possibilities, but based on what I showed you before, you can definitely think to work in the luxury, all the different luxury sectors, and for different jobs, you know, from marketing, from data analysis, for merchandising, from digital, of course, the retail, because it's extremely important to welcome I mentioned before, we still have in-store experiences, so we don't have only digital specialists, you know, we don't have only needs for digital specialists, but also people able to welcome and to treat and to engage as well the clients, and to be in contact with the client in store as well. Well, all the opportunities are really, really huge. I put you some pictures of some alumni we had, because they left, and maybe one very famous, Francis Kurkdjian, who created the Maison, Francis Kurkdjian, the famous perfume, French perfume, and Louis Vuitton, LVMH, bought the Maison, Francis Kurkdjian, for example, and we have other. I put some other students, and why I put that there, because considering what I told you before, and discussing with the HR as well, what is very important, that, and it's still the situation even now, even that we have a very important digital aspect, you know, NFT, virtual reality, and so on. The concrete, the very pragmatic approach of the customer in store as well, the transmission of the heritage, the passion of each maison are still important. And again, luxury sector is still a perfect balance between heritage, craftsmanship, emotion, passion, but also this sector is still very innovative. It's still in the innovation through the digital aspect as well, for sure. The NFT, the gamification, well, because they have to follow also what happened with the customers, the needs of the customers, the new generation, the world change as well. So it's what I love in the luxury sector is this sector is does not forget the roots, but is extremely all the time in innovation. And I put this person on the slide. That this is alumni of Sup de Luxe, just for you, because maybe you don't know Sup de Luxe. So Sup de Luxe is the oldest institute in France, and certainly in the world. 35 years ago, in 1990, recreated this institute, and we launched the first very iconic MBA created by professional. It's by Cartier, La Maison Cartier, from the professional from La Maison Cartier to train professional. So professional training professional, you know, to be sure that the students are really prepared, able to join the market, to answer the request, the needs. And that's why it's very important for you to understand the importance of the link between the institution and the maison. And that's why this is really the unique and the DNA of Sup de Luxe, because it has been created again by professional for professionals. And it's very important for us to be sure, I can explain that like this, to be sure that students, a future professional, can enter in a maison or in the luxury sector, it's very important to be sure that the person is trained, prepared, very well educated, considering the market needs. And these needs, we know the needs. Why? Because we are linked all the time with the different maisons. Because first of all, it's a maison which created Sup de Luxe. So as you can imagine, of course, since 1990, we developed different programs from bachelor's to MBA and MSc and so on, in English and in French. But the key element, the key point, and the unique key element is that from the origin, we are linked to the different maisons and the professional. So that's why we are sure about the competencies and the skills of the students when they finish and they are graduated from Sup de Luxe. So this is the really key element I wanted to share with you. Talk a lot, and now I would like to offer you the possibility to see more inputs from different students in a video. We are talking about 4 minutes. So let's start with the video. Thank you so much.
Je m'appelle Charlène Grandiewski, j'ai 24 ans et je suis diplômée du MBA 2022 de Sup de Luxe. Le luxe pour moi, c'est déjà l'excellence dans l'artisanat. Quand je travaillais chez Van Cleef & Arpels, on avait l'habitude de qualifier les artisans de main d'or. Et c'est vraiment ce que ça représente pour moi en fait, c'est les mains d'or, c'est le travail, l'excellence en fait dans l'artisanat.
Je m'appelle Antoine Cavelle, j'ai 22 ans et je suis diplômé du MBA de Sup de Luxe promotion 2022. Le luxe est quelque chose d'unique, c'est un rêve, quelque chose de très personnel et qui évolue avec le temps et avec la passion.
Je m'appelle Lucie Blondet, j'ai 23 ans et je suis diplômée de la promotion 2022 du MBA Sup de Luxe. Le luxe, c'est un art, l'art de recevoir, l'art de partager, mais aussi d'offrir. Pour moi, c'est un art à part entière, c'est comme un supplément d'âme qu'on partage avec nos êtres chers.
C'était important pour moi de faire cette formation à Paris puisque cette ville est d'abord la capitale du luxe. C'est une ville également très riche en histoire et en monuments historiques. Ma formation à Sup de Luxe est une formation très riche et très complète avec des cours très diversifiés et on a eu la chance de faire de nombreuses choses que je n'aurais pas pu faire par exemple dans une autre formation comme les conférences grands témoins ou encore les nombreux voyages et séminaires qu'on a pu faire un peu partout. Donc c'était vraiment une formation d'excellence et très enrichissante.
Ma passion du secteur du luxe est née à travers de l'automobile de luxe, passion depuis ma plus tendre enfance transmise par mon père au travers du sport automobile et de l'automobile de prestige. Paris représente le temple du luxe et la perfection. C'est un centre du luxe international et c'est d'ici que le luxe et ses traditions évoluent constamment.
Sup de Luxe a été un réel tremplin après mes études post-bac. Ça m'a permis de m'ouvrir les portes de l'univers du luxe, de rencontrer des grands témoins, des grands professionnels du secteur. Pour moi, c'était primordial de faire cette formation à Paris, la capitale de la mode, la capitale du luxe, le vrai précurseur de l'art à la française.
Je donnerais comme conseil aux étudiants qui rêvent de travailler dans le luxe de toujours croire en eux, de toujours s'accrocher, de se lancer des challenges et de rester rigoureux et discret.
Les étudiants qui rêvent de travailler dans le luxe doivent se concentrer sur leur passion, sur leurs rêves et surtout sur l'écoute de la clientèle qui évolue constamment, avec des envies qui évoluent constamment.
Le conseil que je pourrais donner aux futurs étudiants en Sup de Luxe, c'est vraiment d'oser, d'être curieux, de rester ouvert aux opportunités et de toujours prendre des risques.
Après Sup de Luxe, je souhaite continuer d'être professionnel du secteur du luxe, devenir un professionnel de l'automobile de luxe et devenir experience manager au sein de la maison Charles Pozzi Ferrari à Paris.
Donc Sup de Luxe m'a donné énormément de clés dans l'industrie du luxe et pour terminer un petit peu ma formation et commencer ma carrière professionnelle, je souhaiterais partir à l'étranger pour développer encore plus mes compétences culturelles.
Sup de Luxe m'a ouvert les portes au secteur du luxe et je suis maintenant prête et armée pour rejoindre les équipes Hermès Middle East en tant que Retail et Marketing exécutive.
Oh, sorry again. Just want to share. Escape. Okay. Wow. So, thank you for listening to me. And I wanted to really finish on this video because, first of all, as I was mentioning, Europe and especially France is really the nest of the global luxury in the world, and it's definitely you heard these students in different sectors, and that's why I wanted to share with you that there are really opportunities, and definitely it's in Paris, and that you can really experience and to be in contact with the professionals for future professionals and to follow your career and potentially to start your career in France. So that's why I wanted to share with you this beautiful video. And at the same time, I don't know if some of you know already France, but like this, you can also enjoy the very nice view from fantastic places of Paris. And of course, if you study in the luxury sector, you will have the chance to experience this, to touch this, to understand, to learn, to be a future professional in the luxury sector. So thank you very much. And I think it's time eventually for questions. So thank you, Vittoria. If you have questions, I'm more than welcome to answer the questions. I hope I will be able to answer the questions. Thank you so much.
I think you will be able. I have no doubt about it. So thank you, Dr. Berchi, for your interesting presentation and for giving us the opportunity to learn more about the evolution of the luxury market and the job opportunities. So now we are going to start the Q&A part of this event. So don't be shy and keep writing in the Q&A box all your doubts and questions. I saw some in the chat, so I think we can start from those. Let's see. Does Sup de Luxe has basic studies aside of masters?
Yes, of course. I don't know exactly what is your background, your age, and so on, but I mentioned that very quickly because tonight it was really to give you the insight of the luxury market. The idea was not necessarily to enter into the details of the different programs because, as you can see on the slide, we'll organize a second webinar on October 9th as well to present you the very 3 specific Master of Science, because these are delivered in English, and except if you have a perfect French level, you can follow some other program we propose. We propose bachelors as well, and also MBA. in French. But news for you guys, it's that this year we will open the first year bachelor in English, and every year we will open the second year and then the third year. So I think it's 2 years. We will have a bachelor in French and a bachelor in English. But this year we start by a first year in bachelor in English, and we offer the possibility for the people who speak English to apply if they want, of course, to the 3 different Master of Science in global luxury, in fashion, and in gastronomy and wine, delivered completely in English. So, of course, tonight it's not the moment to present in details, but I mentioned and I put on the slide the phone number and email for the admissions. So if you want to immediately to have more details, they will be more than happy to answer. And anyway, my colleagues will recontact you to be in contact with you and to answer all the questions in details. But I hope I answer you first. So Bachelor, MBA, and MSc.
Thank you. I also see a question from Joanna, who asks us if it's compulsory, if it's necessary to know the French language in order to work in the luxury sector.
Excellent question. Before, in my previous life, maybe you double check already on my LinkedIn, I was director of masters, and I was managing 3 masters, one in marketing luxury, and I started first in luxury management master, MSc, a Master of Science, because it was delivered in English completely, in international management and so on. And I remember it was a very, very nice Chinese lady, and she was completely obsessed by Chanel. And I was working in Monaco, and she asked me, Marjorie, I really would like to join the strategy development and so on about Chanel in Paris. And I told her, my dear, it's very important first to speak French. I would say, you know, first of all, to interaction with your colleague, it's important to know some French. It's true that more and more in the big groups at top management, more and more they have foreigners, but most of the time, especially in luxury, they speak French. And they speak Italian as well, because luxury is French, but also, and Vittoria cannot say the contrary, is also Italy as well when we are talking about luxury. So that's why, definitely, to answer the question, if tomorrow you want to work for strategy in Chanel Paris, it's definitely important to speak French. Not only just to speak French, but because speaking the language, that means that you understand the culture, and it's extremely important to masterize a language, to better masterize also a culture. But I remember to this Chinese lady, I told her, but if your target, your dream company is Chanel, that's why we are talking about, you know, career path. I told her, Chanel is present. I was spending 7 years in China, so we have Chanel everywhere in China. I told her, you are Chinese, try to start to work potentially in your country, you know, in a boutique, you know, because you have to start. You cannot be the boss of Chanel like this, you know. So you have to do step by step the thing. Potentially you start, and maybe in a few years, please take French courses, French language courses, and after internally, you can, you know, step by step, change the position and move potentially to France. But as soon as you will be able to speak some French and Chinese, you know, especially if your target job is to work in strategy or something like this. So she told me, oh, that's a good thing. So it depends if you want to join immediately, and if you have the possibility to join a strategic position or an operational position. So it's, but it's this type of discussion I had all the time, and I continue to have with the students. So this is our job as well, our role, to accompany, you know, the students, to help them to understand better this and what the career path they can build. We are here to support, to guide. We don't do instead students, but we help them and we guide them. But to conclude, if you want to work in France, in luxury sector, it's better to speak French. English, minimum, of course.
Thank you. I also see in the Q&A box that some people have some doubts about if they are too young or too old to work in the luxury sector. So what we will I don't know, consider to say to these people about the background, about the possibility?
Sure. I would say, you know, the age, it's a question that you can have for all the sectors, not only for luxury. But as we are talking about the luxury sector, I would say that what does it mean be too young? Of course, if, again, as I mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities, but considering the luxury sector, when we are talking about luxury sector, we are talking about excellence, you know, professionalism. That means that the maison and the luxury sector need people extremely well trained. So if you are young, you have to be trained though. So I don't know if you don't have any you need to learn, you know, because the luxury sector, the codes are completely, the luxury codes are totally different than the mass product codes, you know. You don't work for Dior like you work for Procter & Gamble. It's completely different. So you need to know that. You need to learn more about how to approach, how to engage, you know, the high network individual or very high network individual. The behavior of the luxury consumer is completely different than a mass market consumer. So you need to be trained, and you need to demonstrate as well about this capacity to be able to be professional. That means that you need to have some knowledge for sure, but also experiences. I'm talking about the person maybe who consider that she or he is too young. That means you need a diploma and you need some professional experiences. That's very important to have some, I don't know, internship, apprenticeships, and we have that, I don't know, in your countries, and we offer that at Sup de Luxe, meaning that some students arrive and they want to have a classical way. That means that they follow the courses, they have to do an internship, different internship depending on the level of the studies. And also we offer at bachelor level in the third year, the possibility to have an apprenticeship. That means that you spend time in the company, and at the same time you spend time at school, you know, to develop your knowledge. This is very French. We have that at the master MBA level, but not at a master level, MSc. And for the person, I don't know, what does it mean to be too old? You know, I don't like this word because I'm pretty sure that I prefer to say that the person has experience, has competencies, skills, because you have the age that you have. And so you build some, I presume, some experience. If, of course, if you develop some experience, not necessarily in the luxury sector, again, Vittoria, I don't know exactly what is the age of the person behind the screen, but you can, and we offer that as well at Sup de Luxe. You can also, we develop also the executive education. So we have also short programs for very professional person, you know, and I think it can be a great asset especially if you have already some very strong competencies in a very specific, I don't know, topic, maybe digital, but not necessarily in the luxury sector. You can complete your previous academic background, but also a professional experience by a specific training dedicated to you with already some professional background. If the person speaks some French, you can join the MBA. We have an MBA with different specialization as well. And we have people who have already some experience as not only young students, I would say. So we have really different possibility for you. It's difficult for me to go further because I don't know the specific profile of the person who asks these questions. But I really encourage you, if you want a very dedicated approach to your profile and to answer properly to the questions, to contact the admissions. And anyway, my colleague will contact you directly in the next days to answer properly your questions.
Thank you very much. As you mentioned, the fact of the internship, we have some similar question about the possibility to study abroad during the master.
So we have the possibility to, we offer MBA online, completely a full complete MBA online in English. So that's a perfect combo for a person who works, for example, and has no possibility to eventually to join us directly in Paris. But as you can imagine, because it's written in the title, it's difficult to for a complete online MBA to offer you, the proper physical experience in Paris. We will offer you, of course, to be in front of very expert from the luxury sector, for sure, and to really develop your competence or potentially some, I was mentioning before, a person who has already some experience but want to change or upgrade, the level of responsibility in a company. I think this online MBA could be a perfect fit for the person, especially if the person cannot be physically in Paris. So we offer also an online MBA, absolutely.
Thank you. There are Aurora who asks us, what about the price? It's accessible for everyone. I'm not sure if we are talking about living in Paris or about the master.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I don't want to enter into the details because it's too it's too difficult to really answer properly. But of course, if you want to study at the Sup de Luxe, it's a private school, and like all the business school in France, except some of them, they are private, and for sure you pay to study, like in the US, like everywhere in the world. So it really depends. I cannot give you, first of all, because I don't have all the figures in mind, to be extremely transparent, and I don't want to tell you wrong information. This is really the role of my colleague at the admission. They are aware completely about all the things. What is important for you to notice, guys, is that different things. First, when we say it's expensive, this is, I think, typically the sentence we can hear all the time in the luxury sector. Oh, this bag is expensive. Oh, this car is expensive. What does it mean? You know what I mean? So there's a cost. You have to pay for what you will learn. Again, in terms of expenses, we are in Paris, but we have a lot of students. They manage to find, and believe me, we have students who do not have, who are not rich, and they follow the studies and they find a way to live in Paris. Of course, if you want to have a room at the Ritz Hotel, this is your choice. but believe me, you can find a way to stay in Paris to study, fortunately, or outside Paris, but you take the public transportation. It's typically what millions of Parisians do every day to come to Paris to work. So it's totally possible. And another point as well, if you follow a very important point, I think I was mentioning, I don't want to say it's the wrong thing, but it's a very important point, and I will double check. And if some people are interested in, of course, my colleague of the admission will contact you, because I was mentioning the possibility to do an apprenticeship. But I think you need to be French to have access to this apprenticeship. Why? It's not because we don't like foreigners. It's just because it's a very specific system developed by the French government. So for French person. So maybe I made a mistake when telling you that it was possible for you to apply for the apprenticeship. So definitely you can apply for the classical courses, classical thing with internship and so on, but not necessarily for the apprenticeship. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure that this is the case. So again, depending on the programs, the prices and the cost will be different. So again, my colleague at the admission will give you all the details with big pleasure. Considering the request you have. Is it for a bachelor, or if it's for MBA or for a Master of Science, it depends.
Thank you. We have time for the last question, so I will merge some up. So some people ask us about the hiring rates in the luxury sector, if it's easy to find work, and also if it's all about marketing in this sector.
What do you mean? If it's possible to find jobs in marketing in luxury?
Yes,
this is the question?
Hiring rates.
Yes, of course. As I mentioned in my previous slide, especially because the digital aspect is very important, and the brand, the branding is extremely important. So all the aspects of the marketing, the jobs for that are requested from the different maisons. One very important point, especially in this sector, they need people who are extremely well trained. So that's why it's absolutely necessary to be well trained, and this training has to be recognized by a diploma. And thanks to the diploma, you need to have access to the maison, the different internship, and so on. As I mentioned, Sup de Luxe has been created, designed by professionals for preparing professionals. And at the end, when you go out with a bachelor's, or with a Master of Science, or with an MBA, you are ready to enter in the sector you want to join in terms of segment in the luxury sector. So yes, for sure, the marketing between the digital, the branding, and so on, that's for sure key position, totally open for that. But again, you need to be good and you need to be trained.
Thank you very much. I think we are running out of time, so I don't know, I'm going to...
Vittoria, if you have more questions, what we can do is obviously you will stay in contact in terms of questions, and because tonight we had a lot of questions about the programs we offer. Thank you so much, because I was expecting potentially more questions about my presentation, but that means that there is a real interest in joining Sup de Luxe. So or at least questions about that. And we are extremely pleased by that. So what I propose is potentially, as maybe the time is flying, to keep the questions, and of course the admission, especially if the questions are really focused on very specific programs and so on. The admission will be extremely happy to answer all the questions and to contact each person present tonight, for sure.
So I think we can read the last question. I only want to say that now I'm going to send in the chat the link to receive the certificate of participation for everyone. So in the meantime, we will answer the last question.
Okay.
And obviously, you are going, all the participants are going to receive the recording of the webinar in the next few days. So we can read some other question. Okay, perfect. I read that some when people ask us what the three students in the video have become.
So, sorry, can you just repeat?
Some people ask us what job the people in the video are doing now. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, sure. Alors, maybe I did not mention that, but I arrived at Sup de Luxe at the beginning of March. So I don't know personally all the students present in the video, but I knew one, and this is the young man, and his dream was to join Ferrari in Paris, and his dream came true because he joined the concession Ferrari in Paris, so it's extremely happy. And for the other young ladies, so I know one was at Hermes. To be honest, to be transparent, I don't know exactly what she decided to do now, if she's still at Hermes, but one of the two had, I don't want to enter into the detail, but she had a personal problem, and she had to join the parents' company. So she had to leave the position she had for family reasons. But again, that's what is very interesting is that they managed to approach the different sectors and to spend time or internship or apprenticeship in the sector they wanted. And the perfect example is the young man who wanted to join the car industry, and especially the luxury car industry, and is still in Paris at Ferrari.
Wow, that's impressive, I think. And
but again, you know, what is extremely important to tell to the audience is that you are the best salesperson of yourself. We just are here to help you, to guide you, to expose you, but you have to do the job. You know, you are the person who is in charge of your career path. For sure, my colleague, myself, will still there to discuss, to help, but we don't do instead of the students. You know, you are the best brand person for your brand. You know, this is yourself. So we are here just to help you, to give you the competencies and so on, the opportunities, but you have to do the jobs. And that's why I like what the young man was mentioning. I wanted my dream comes true. He did it by himself, you know. Personally, and my colleague did not take their phone to find this opportunity for him. We gave the students the toolbox, the methodology, the competencies, the opportunity, the experiences. But after, this is the job of the students to do the last part of the road, you know, to achieve their objectives and their dream.
Thank you. About that, some people ask us about the careers in the sector, and if Sup de Luxe give also the tools to start their own business in the luxury market.
Absolutely. If we have entrepreneur tonight with us, we have also specialization in entrepreneurship. Of course, and so we offer the possibility to follow some courses on that. But it's but again, this I would say that the entrepreneurial approach is everywhere, you know, in the courses. Why also? Because, as I mentioned from the beginning, the DNA of the institute is really, it has been built again by professional for professional. So the students are extremely exposed to, all the time exposed in the courses to professional and experts of the luxury sectors. Plus the experiences they have the possibility to meet, you know, for the MBA, for example, we organize what we call the conferences, grand témoins, high witnesses. I mean, this is a CEO, top CEO, or the last one was with Richard Mille. Richard Mille is the very iconic owner and creator of Richard Mille brand, the watches, absolutely amazing. And he was in front, is a perfect entrepreneur and the perfect example. And he was in front of the MBA. So it was a fantastic moment for the students to really be in contact with him, to ask also, you know, their questions in terms of luxury sectors, but also for the students who are interested in entrepreneurship in the luxury sector. For sure, it's another occasion for them to talk directly to an iconic entrepreneur. So definitely, every day in the courses, during the different experiences, or in a very specific specialization, the students can really approach the entrepreneurship aspect. Another point as well, I mentioned that it's Cartier, the Maison Cartier, which decided to create Institut Sup de Luxe 35 years ago. And we developed what we call the share Cartier, but we develop also other share, and the share with another company in watches. It's about entrepreneurship and innovation, you know. So we have another share as well. So the entrepreneurship mindset is really present and very concrete at Sup de Luxe by all the time, you know, different aspects. So yes, definitely.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for staying with us this afternoon. And I would like to remind everyone another time that you are going to receive the recording of the webinar in the next few days. So you can rewatch the video and all the details Dr. Bershim gave us. I don't know if you would like to leave the participant with a final message.
Final, sorry, it was
a final message.
Oh, believe in you. Believe in if really you have the passion for the luxury sector, because sometimes in my career, you know, I met people, they were working in a company, they were not happy, or they, you know, they were passionate about luxury, they wanted to change, but they don't know, they don't dare to do, you know, the move, or young students with doubt about the luxury sector, because sometimes you have, I would say, because or thanks the social network, you have the maybe an idea about the luxury, about bling bling. But really, believe me, the luxury sector is a sector extremely professional, of excellence, and this sector needs really well-trained professional. So if you had doubts, but you have the passion, you want to study or you want to change your career, please contact us, because definitely Paris is the place to be. And definitely Sup de Luxe is the place to be for you guys to be ready to join the market. But passion, you have to be rigorous. You have to be engaged. You know, again, but if you have the passion of that, you will learn easily. You will have you will take the decision to change your career, to join us by a classical training program, or maybe an executive training for some people who work already and have already some experiences. But really, more than happy to discuss maybe and to meet you in Paris. But first of all, again, my colleagues at admission will give you all the details really to help you to take the right decision and to move to Paris.
Thank you, Dr. Bershi, for your
was a pleasure.
inspiring message.
I try and I hope, because really it's a fantastic sector and with so opportunities, and that's why we expose the students, because sometimes, you know, so also the students, you know, they have a very short vision because they know just one industry. But every year some students say, oh my God, I did not expect, you know, to join for I don't know, a company dedicated to watches, you know, and they discover another world. So this is also the objective. It's for students really to build, you know, the career path. Sometimes you can arrive with an idea in mind, and discussing with us or with the admission or with us, you discover other things. And when you are in class, maybe you arrive saying, oh my God, I will continue in fashion. And finally, you will discover gastronomy and wine. And definitely you will join the Master of Science in Gastronomy and Wine, because you prefer that. It's better for you than fashion and so on, and you discover a new industry. So again, it's also the programs are done also for that, for students to discover, you know, and to build their career path. And I love that, and I love this transmission with the students. So I hope I will meet some of you, or maybe all of you, in Paris in the next few months. But again, my colleagues at admission will give you all the answers to your questions. Thank you, Victoria, and thank you all, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.